Hello and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant Podcast. My name is Kim and this is episode 13. If you haven't seen any of these podcasts before, today I am going to be talking about predominantly crochet and a lot about yarn as well. So to start with, I will be giving you a bit of an update. So I didn't post last weekend because I was away with family for Easter. We had a really nice time away from the house with lots of different family members, just chatting, eating lots of food. We had an Easter egg hunt as well. It was just really nice to see everyone and to spend some time with them without having to worry about anything else, such as washing up or any other little chores that need to be done. So that was really nice, and it was a really nice celebration as well. Before that, since the last podcast, I also went to France. So my partner is French, and it was the first time that I had been on a ferry. So we went from Portsmouth to Caen, which was really nice, and back again, which if you haven't been on a ferry before, or this particular ferry, it took 6 hours. So that was quite long. I did want to do a lot of crochet throughout this time, so I had a particular project that I wanted to start and finish, and I did actually start filming on the boat at the start of the journey. However, because it was my first time on the boat, the waves, although they weren't strong, the boat was swaying a little bit, and I do get travel sick, so I decided to focus on something that would not make me feel quite so sick, because I'm concentrating quite a lot on the stitches. Hopefully that makes sense. So I didn't get as much crochet done then as I wanted. However, I have got a few finished projects. So to start with, I'll go over my finished projects. So they're just here. So I've actually got 4. So the first one is a sort of finished project. I started this last month and I was debating whether I needed to finish the band or whether it was okay the way that it was. So this headband, it's actually crocheted around the black band. Then the top bit with the knot on it is a separate part. So you crochet in a long rectangle, you put a knot in the middle and then you sew it to the existing band. Hopefully that makes sense. It is a pattern by Lottie and Albert, and it is called the Tie Knot Headband. I will post a link to her website below, but I don't believe that this is a pattern on her website anymore. Maybe you can send her an email, she might respond to that, or have a look elsewhere online for it. So I added the knot to the top, and this was for a specific dress, but actually I quite like the way that it goes with the boiler suit as well. So this was finished. Unfortunately, because I used yarn that I had bought from America that was scrap, so I bought it from someone who was having a de-stash. I don't actually know what yarn this is. It feels acrylic. It's not as bright as it is appearing on the camera. It's a little bit more maroon. But that is the finished design. So that's my first finished project. The next one that I finished was actually the Promenade market bag, and I will have to have a look at where the pattern is from. I'll pop it along the bottom. So this is the Promenade market bag, and the way that this is worked is really easy. So the pattern is available for free online. So you follow the pattern to make up the bottom and to increase the stitches so that you've got obviously a full base to the bag. And then you do this design. And the way you do that is you make a loop, so you start in the bottom, you chain, count the stitches, crochet in a stitch again, and you continue that around and around and around until you get to the start. You crochet up the chain until you get to the top of the chain, and then you chain between the stitches. I'm trying to describe it in an easy way without giving out the pattern. So you crochet between them, so you crochet 3, you make a single crochet into the top of the previously chained parts, you continue that around. Then you single crochet 3 into the existing stitches, you crochet into the top of the stitch for this, and then you continue round. So I don't know whether my explanation makes any sense at all. As I said, it is a free pattern, so you can easily look it up online. I will link the pattern below as well. So once I got this base done, I continued until I had finished the pattern. I was going to add some more, but I didn't in the end. Again, I was using scrap yarn. This was flat cotton yarn, which I'll show you in a bit. So I wasn't sure how it would look, and I'm quite happy with the way that the colours are sectioned. It looks sort of half-half. So you've got the blue at the bottom, so the blue is multicoloured, then you've got a plain blue, then you've got sort of a camo green, a lime green, and then the last one is this green on the handle. So again, it was really easy to follow this pattern because once you'd done one repetition, you could continue, and it was really straightforward. It was really easy to understand as well. So there's written instructions and there is also a video. So I had miscounted my stitches. So when it came to the top part, I did have to fudge it a little bit by either adding or removing some of the stitches, but this hasn't impacted the use of the bag at all. And actually, because this bag is quite stretchy with the stitches, and down more so, because this bag is quite stretchy, in theory I could block it, because it's only me that's using it, I'm not going to, but I actually use this bag to take all of my packages and letters and things to the post office. So every time I have something to send, this is usually what I'm sending it in. As I said, this bag does hold quite a lot, so it's really handy, and to just stuff at the bottom of my handbag as well, so that I've always got a bag. So in total I used just over 100 grams for this, so 107 grams, and that was scrap yarn. This was actually given to me by a family member, so this is quite a precious bag. As I said, I really like the way that it's come together as well. The colours are really nice together. And the pattern was just really simple. I would definitely recommend other people try it. There aren't any complicated stitches. I believe it's all singles, single stitches, increases, decreases, and chains, and that's it. So it's really straightforward. If you're a beginner and you're wanting something different, that would be a really good project to try. So the yarn I used kind of looked like this. So this is one that looks a bit more fluffy. I'm not sure where it was from or what kind of yarn it is. As I said, I suspect that it's probably cotton. So the rest of the yarn was flat like this. So I called it tape yarn, but it was cotton. And it wasn't fuzzy on the edge like this one is. So this yarn I have actually got a plan for. This is the only bit that's left of the blues and the greens. I have got some more colours, but they are more yellows, reds, oranges and pinks, so they will be going on a separate project. Because it's a family member of my partner's, I've actually asked him to pick the project, so that's quite exciting. But yes, I will be using this for a whip that I'm working on, which I will come back to in a second. So those are two of my finished projects. The third one I didn't use a pattern for, so it looks slightly funky, but bear with me. So I had some scrubby yarn, which I really wanted to use, and I had some cotton yarn as well. So the cotton yarn I had was on a skein, on a band, on a roll, not sure the words for it, and it was like this, or it is like this. So it is thicker in some parts than others. So sometimes it goes sort of down to a lace weight, other times it's considerably thicker, and it could be considered sort of DK weight. So that was quite interesting to work with because it does change texture. I believe that this is cotton, but again, I got this second hand, so I'm not actually sure of the makeup of it or where it's from, etc. It's a white/creamy colour. So it was quite interesting to work with. It was a little bit difficult at times if I had crocheted a stitch with the sort of thinner lace weight yarn, then pulling through the thicker yarn did make it a bit difficult. At times I had to sort of tug it a bit more, but it wasn't difficult. It was just different. So what did I make with these two? I could have made a scrubby for the kitchen, but I have so many cloths at the moment that I have sewn that I really don't use crocheted ones anymore. And although it probably seems a bit sad, I get a little bit worried about ruining or staining my hand crocheted scrubbies that are used in the kitchen. So I tend not to use them, which is slightly against the point of making them. So I tend not to make them anymore. So this is what I made. So this is for the bath. It will be a bath mitt for myself. So we've got the scrubby yarn on this side, if you can hear that. It's quite rough, which would be great for exfoliation. The top part is the cotton and the back is the cotton as well. So I'll see whether you can see a little bit where it's slightly thicker and then where it's thinner. So the texture is quite nice. It was quite nice to work with. It was fairly easy. I did start using a pattern, but because my yarn wasn't the same size, my yarn was a lot thicker than the yarn that they were using, I just continued increasing and just fudged my own pattern, which is why the top part is a little bit longer than maybe it should be. So I started with a magic circle, crocheted into that and increased until it was a good size. Then I waited till I sort of got to a reasonable point to start with the scrubby yarn. Now, because I only had, I think it was about 15 or 16 grams of the scrubby yarn, I wasn't sure how long it would go for. So I attached the scrubby yarn to half of the panel and then just crocheted it into a rectangle and just carried on going until I couldn't crochet anymore, and use that to sort of guide how big the mitt would be. And then because I had a bit more of the cotton, I crocheted into the back and just joined it, so it probably looks a bit zigzaggy. So trying to explain. So just continued crocheting just the back panel, joining it at the side panels as I went, and then I just finished it off with a single crochet just around the bottom to finish it off a little bit. So this was really easy. I haven't used it in the bath yet. I really like, as I said, how rough this yarn is because I exfoliate quite a lot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using it in the shower because I enjoy exfoliating, and this would be really nice to use with exfoliating soap or just normal soap as well. And if this side is a bit rough or I fancy something a bit smoother, I can always turn it around and use the cotton side instead. So although it is a little bit of a squeeze to get on and off my hands, it's not too tricky. So I think if I was to do this again, I would just measure it more so. But to be honest, if I have made it bigger, I don't know whether it would stay on my hand as well. Obviously when it's wet it will be heavier, so it will probably be more prone to slipping off. I did try to work in a thumb because there's quite a lot of cotton yarn left. I thought that I could finish the glove off and make a thumb for it as well. I started by making a chain, and it was just really difficult to get on and off. I increased the chain and it didn't work, so I just thought I wouldn't bother and I'd just have it like this. So yeah, that was not overly exciting. It took, I'd probably say, half a day to make, just because I had to keep trying it on, redoing the pattern, pulling some back. It was quite a bit of trial and error. It's not perfect, but I like it. So now I've shown it to you, I can use it. Just a slight, just some advice as well. I'm sure that most of you know this, so I'll be brief. But when you are making things for the bath or the shower or for the water, it's really important to use cotton yarn because cotton yarn dries out better and you can wash it. It's better for you and better with the water than acrylic yarn. When I first started crocheting, I would use acrylic yarn for everything, but when it was being used to scrub plates and things like that, it wouldn't dry out as quickly, which would mean that it is more prone to mould, and it's a little bit more difficult to wash as well. So just try and remember to use cotton if you can do. But, you know, trial and error, we keep trying, we keep making errors. So yeah. So that's my third finished project, and the last one I will have to turn you around for. So this is my final finished project. So as you can see, it's half of my cardigan. I've just got it folded over so you can see it a little bit better. So this was a pattern by For the Frills, and it is called an Easy Pocket Crochet Cardigan. So this again is a free pattern that's available online, and the main changes that I made to the cardigan is the length, which I will show you. I'll try and put it on, but I'm not sure how well it will wear. Just over this. So I haven't blocked this project yet. I'm not sure whether I will, just because it's a personal one. I probably will, to be honest. So this is the finished cardigan. So the cardigan is made of half double crochets and double crochets predominantly. I need to block it so that the pockets end up a little bit lower, just because they are up by my boobs at the moment, which isn't the worst thing, but not really where I wanted them. And the back is a bit lower as well. So this took me around 2 months to complete. It's not a difficult pattern at all. I said it's free online. It's not difficult, it's just a lot of half double crochets. So you make it in the back panel, then you make the 2 front panels. The sleeves are both separate and the pockets are both separate. Afterwards you sew the pockets on, sew the arms on and crochet it down the side, or stitch it up down the side. You do the ribbing at the bottom and the ribbing at the front and around the neck as well. So the ribbon around the front is optional, but I thought that it just finished the project off. So the way that the pattern is written, it is meant to come sort of to your bum or just under your bum. Mine obviously comes to my waist. When I made the jumper, I thought that that would be better for me because I wear a lot of dresses, and obviously crochet is a bit thicker, so it tends to stand upright more, be less flexible. So I preferred, or I wanted to make a cardigan that was a bit shorter and maybe more flattering for me. I am also debating whether to add some buttons down the front as well, just to finish it off, or if that's maybe a little bit too much. But I think I might add some buttons. It is really warm. I've just put it on, but it is really warm. So I think the only thing I need to do to finish it off is just to give it a little blocking, give it a light blocking, just to pull this down a little bit and to make it a bit straighter. So yes, this cardigan took a lot of time, but it was enjoyable and I really enjoyed making it, because once you had, for example, with the sleeves, you start at the wrist. So you do the ribbing. Once you've done the ribbing and you get to about row 6 where you've done the increases, all you have to do is a half double crochet up, and then once you reach the amount of rows, that's it. So it's really, really simple to continue, especially if you're watching something or you're having a conversation with someone. So it's definitely a project that you can do on the go, that you don't have to concentrate on doing. So that was really nice. There weren't really any parts that I struggled with, again because it is quite a straightforward pattern, quite a straightforward design. I actually printed off the pattern, and the way that I do it is I print off the pattern and then I highlight the instructions for my sizes. So I made this in a medium, which was great, it fits well. I think much bigger would have been not really my size, and obviously depending on the yarn you use will depend how thick the jumper is as well. So for this project I used some yarn that I already had, which was We Love Yarn by Hobby. It is colour 03 and it is 100% acrylic, and it is bulky as well. So I bought this quite a few years ago, but I believe that they have a similar colour on the website at the moment, which I think is called Ash. It's sort of this brown creamy colour, which I really liked, hence why I bought it, because it goes with everything. So originally I bought this yarn to sort of replace a grey cardigan that I had that I wore all the time. It was quite long and it was really cosy. It kind of wore a little bit like a dressing gown, but a socially acceptable dressing gown that you can wear to work. It didn't have the tie around the middle, but it was just so comfy and I wore it all the time. So I bought some yarn to recreate it. Obviously this cardigan I've made shorter just because my style has changed. I feel like this will look better with the clothes that I wear more so now. For example, when I'm wearing dresses, it will just show my waist and my hips a little bit better than a straight down cardigan would. So that's really nice. Yeah, as I said, this yarn is available on Hobby. If you do want it, I will pop the details below, and I will also try and link the yarn colour that I believe is very close to this colour, just in case you like it. I started off with 15 100-gram balls for this project throughout the 2 months that I've been working on it. So I got through 872 grams of yarn, so I've still got some left. And I'm planning on using the rest of the yarn probably to make hats or to make something similar, but I will have to look. So they are still in my stash, but I will look for projects to use them for in the future. And that is it for my finished project. So a really big one that I've been working on for a while. I'm so glad that it's finished, because now I can actually wear it after I've blocked it. The only thing that I would say I wasn't really a fan of is the way that I joined it. Now, I don't know whether this is because I'm a crocheter, so that I pay more attention to it, but the way that it's joined, it doesn't seem very smooth. So I'm thinking that I need to look more into how to joining crochet projects up, so that the next project I make, if I have to sew it together, I will have a better technique. So because I had already sewn down one side of the jumper before I realised I didn't like the look of it, I thought that I would change my technique next time so that both sides will look the same. But it's not that big. Obviously it's under the arm and down, well, under each arm and down the side, so most people won't see it anyway. It will probably be one of those things that I pay more attention to than anyone else. And I've woven in all of my ends, so it's a proper finished project. So I have had 4 finished projects. So this cardigan, the market bag, my bath mitt and the headband as well. Next is on to my works in progress. So I have got 6 works in progress in my queue, and by my queue I mean the way that I've organised them online. I've got 6 that are currently in progress. So these projects include 1 yellow jumper, a second sock, a beach bag I'm currently working on, a crochet garland, granny square wrist warmers, and tulip projects. So the next one that I am planning on working on in this month is going to be my tulip project. So it is a whip, but it's only just a whip. So I've got this bag of lots of various coloured wool balls, which are very pretty, but they are also quite itchy. So I'm planning on using them for something that I won't be wearing. So the first idea that sort of came to mind was to do the crochet tulips. Now this is a pattern from craftpassion.com, and it's a free tulip pattern. So quite briefly, you crochet a rectangle, you join up one side so that it is a cylinder, you pull the bottom together, so you sew in between here, cinch it all together, and then you sort of make the top a square shape so that it looks tulipy, and then obviously you stuff it before you do that. So I've got lots of scrap yarn and scrap fabric to stuff these with. which will be really good for reducing waste. I have also already got long cocktail or kebab sticks that I'll be cutting the ends off and wrapping in yarn to make the stems. And after they are done, I will be popping them all in a vase and keeping them on my dining room table. My partner's favourite flower is yarn. It's yarn, God. My partner's favourite flowers are tulips, so I'm hoping that he will like them. And also, along with all of the different colours, I think that they'll look really, really pretty. So there's sort of dark blues, dark purples, some sort of lighter colours. So it'll be really nice, and I think it'll be quite sort of dynamic as well in the way that it looks. So I'm really excited to do that. Some of the yarn is a lot thicker than others, so I'm also excited to see how they all turn out, because some will be thicker, some will be bigger, some will be thinner. This was doubled over, but some of the yarn, there's not enough to double it over, so we've got a mix between DK, Aran weights, fingering weights, so it'll be really interesting to see how they all come about. So my plan is to crochet all of these rectangles, do as many as I can before I get bored, and then start crocheting them up, like joining the sides, joining the bottoms, making them into tulips. And then I think I'll need to read the instructions again, but I think the last step for me will be adding the stick at the end. But I'm planning on doing it like a bit of a chain, so make maybe 1 or 2 tulips per day, and then within a couple of weeks hopefully they will be finished, if I get enough time. Maybe during my lunch break I will make a couple while I'm waiting for my food to be ready. And then, as I said, I will be using this yarn. So this is the leftover from the market bag, and I really love the colours on this, because it's not just a flat green. It's as you can see, it's like a darker green, a lighter green, and sort of a mid green. So I'm planning on wrapping this around the kebab stick so that it adds some texture and it's not as boring. So I have to read the instructions again to see exactly the order that they do it in, whether they add the stick first or whether they sew the top or the bottom first. I can't remember, but that is something that I am hoping to be finished with by the end of April. I had also said that I would finish the crochet fingerless mittens. I didn't. I was just so busy trying to finish this project and starting new projects, as you can see, that I didn't actually get it finished. I think one of the big blocks for me is that I don't have the same yarn that they were crocheted in. Although I have some similar yarn or yarn that goes with it, I'm a bit reluctant to start it just in case it looks rubbish and I have to undo it and buy more yarn. Although I like buying yarn, I feel as though buying the same yarn can be quite stressful because I have no idea where they got it from. I have no idea where to even start looking, and I would not really like to add some more acrylic yarn to my stash because I've got quite a lot of odds and ends of acrylic anyway, just not in the right colours. So I need a light lilac colour and white as well, but it's acrylic and not fluffy acrylic. Hopefully that makes sense. It's more shiny, so I will see. I will use the yarn that I've already got and see where that gets me. But those are the 2 projects that I would like to have finished by the end of the month. What I will probably be doing as well is waiting until the end of the month has passed before I release a new podcast. because I feel that that gives a more accurate view of what I finished and what I need to finish. So technically this cardigan was finished on the 2nd of April. Yeah, technically this cardigan was finished on the 2nd of April. However, because I did most of the work in March, I'm going to count it as a finished project for March. The only thing that I did do in April is just finish the ribbing around the front. So yeah, so tulips and the granny square mittens. So now for the end of March yarn update. So throughout this month I used 708 grams of yarn, which for me is really exciting because it's a lot. Now I know that you use more yarn with bulky yarn, you use more of it quicker because obviously it's thicker than, for example, if you were using fingering weight yarn. It would be more difficult to get through 700 grams. It wouldn't be difficult, it would take quite a bit longer to go through 700 grams of fingering weight yarn in a month than it would be to go through 700 grams of bulky weight yarn. So that definitely helped. It obviously wasn't all bulky weight. Some of it was fingering weight and a lot of it was DK weight yarn. But that was really good to have finished that much. So that's great. And in terms of new yarn, I have bought a little bit. But I feel as though I have a good reason for it. So the first one was some raffia yarn that I bought from a holiday when we went away, the family, over Easter. So I like to collect yarn when I go away. This one I haven't actually seen before. I haven't seen this brand before, so I thought it would be really cool to bring it home and try some. And this, what I didn't realise is that this is split into 91 metre strands. It's 100% biodegradable and hand packed in the UK. And it is by a company called Nutscene. Not sure why. So yes, I have got a project in mind for this. It has gone on my planned projects, not my works in progress. So once I have got through a lot of my works in progress, I will start using this. And as sort of a clue, I am turning this into a bag, and I'm hoping that it's going to be as beautiful as it looks in the pattern. So that's one thing. It's 100 grams. And the other yarn that I bought that I definitely did not need, but it was such a good price that I felt as though I had to. So this is Wool and the Gang, and the colour is powder blue. It's called Super Trooper wool, so I believe that it is DK weight, and these are 50 gram balls, 100% merino. So I absolutely love the colour of this. I bought 14 of them, so there's 700 grams in total. And the reason I bought it is because someone was destashing and it was an amazing price. Just to put it into context, it was less than half of what you would buy it for if you were to buy it new. I think maybe less than a quarter than if you were to buy it new. I'm not sure if maybe the person wasn't aware of how much it was, or maybe they just wanted to get rid of it. But I absolutely love it. So this would be really cute for a project for a little one, or I will probably be making a cardigan or a jumper out of it for myself. Because it's merino, it will be really warm. Hopefully it'll be fairly easy to wash as well. Yeah, it's super wash merino. so it should be easy to wash as well. The colour is definitely me. I love this colour, and I feel like if I were to make a cardigan or a jumper out of it, it would just be really beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to that. But this is on the back burner for the moment because I've got so many other projects that are planned or that I would really like to start. So that's sort of waiting for the moment. It's going to go into my stash. And lastly, business updates. So this month there's just a small update. I say small, semi-big, semi-small. So as you may have seen on some of my previous videos, last month I made approximately 50 bags, 50 project bags for crochet and knitting, and I filmed myself uploading all of them. If you weren't aware, uploading things to Etsy takes a lot of time just because you need to take pictures, different pictures for each of the bags. You need to ensure that they are that the pictures are good. You need to edit the pictures, you need to write a description, you need to measure all of them, you need to ensure that all the listings are accurate, etc. So it does take quite a bit of time, but they are all up. So if you watched that video and there were any bags in particular that you had your eye on, now would be a good time to have a look because, as I said, they're all up there. I believe a couple may have sold, but hopefully it's not the one that you were looking at. I have a lot of bags online at the moment, so I'm sure that if the one you were looking at has gone, you will be able to find another one that you really like as well. So yeah, all 50 bags are online. I'm still enjoying working from home. I am working hard to work through a lot of my fabrics so that I can have some more space on my shelves. So you can see just this pile here of fabrics that I'm hoping to use up in the next month or so. That is predominantly fabric that I'm saving for tote bags or special bags. So I've got a lot of yarn at the moment that is 90s themed. So I'm really excited to start working with that. But I just need to stick to one thing. So start making tote bags, or keep making project bags for the moment, or similar things. Hopefully that makes sense. I need to make a plan and stick to it. I have also been looking at different markets, but again this has been a little bit difficult just in terms of getting responses and finding stuff that is available for this year. So I wasn't aware, or maybe I was a little bit naive in thinking that applying to yarn shows in 2024, for 2024, even for the end of this year, there would be spaces. Unfortunately, a lot of them that I've reached out to, there aren't any spaces, so I will need to book on for 2025. So that is just something that I will need to keep in the back of my mind for when I see adverts for things, is to just book on for next year. But again, local markets is definitely something that I'm interested in and that I would like to do. So as and when I have updates about that, I will let you know. Apart from that, I don't think that there's much else that I need to pass on. I'm just very happy that I finished this jumper in time for this podcast. And yeah, I will be doing a video soon. It will hopefully be a bit of a short video about a 3-month stash update. Just because I had a goal at the start of the month, at the start of the year, to destash some yarn. I just wanted to give an update on how I'm doing, and if there's any advice that I have, or anything like that. So yeah. Well, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And apart from that, I will speak to you all soon. Any details you need from me are below, including my shop link, my email address, and obviously a space for you to leave some comments as well. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, all the best. Bye.